Hey y'all, it's Miss Andrea. Excuse me while I get my camera set up, but I wanted y'all to see my new t-shirt. My new t-shirt is very appropriate for today's topic because I am in a bad mood and I need to rant. Now, the title of this video is I haven't titled it yet. But basically it's about my two adult kids living at home. And I just need to rant about that for a minute. Here's the source of my rant. People keep telling me to put my kids out. And it's none of their business. So my son left for college, I guess 6 years ago. 6 years ago in the fall, so 5.5 years ago, and did the college, and came back home. My daughter left for college 5 years ago, did the college, graduated at 20. At 20, she left a couple of weeks after she turned 17. And graduated before her 21st birthday. And she came home. My son is almost done with his master's degree online, which we are paying for cash. People have a problem with that too. And my daughter is figuring things out because she's 21 years old. And they live at home. So my aggravation stems from two conversations this week where I saw an old acquaintance. And we got to talking about our grown kids. I didn't realize his were a couple years older than mine. I thought they were the same age, and he has one living at home and the other one has a child on the way. And, and I was like, yeah, my kids are home. He's like, that's because they love that luxury. Why are you mad? Like, he had an attitude. Why are your kids home? Because I make it luxurious for them. Well, okay, if you feel that your children are having too much luxurious time, go and take everything you purchased. My kids, on the other hand, work hard, are super respectful, haven't brought home extra people, and are working on their futures. And then another person, I had a party here on Saturday, and I joked about my son has a habit of putting things out of my reach because he's a little OCD-ish and I don't put things back in the same place every time. So to get me back for putting something in a different place, he'll put it on a shelf that I can't reach. And she goes, well, put him out. What is wrong with people? First of all, kids and adults can have playful relationships, especially when your child is turning 24 in a month. Okay? You can let your kids come back home for college. Now that may not be for everyone, but that is for us. And not that I should explain myself, but here's the deal. My husband is from an immigrant family, Jamaican, and kids tend to stick pretty close to home. Heck, it's not unusual to come home and find your child asleep in your bed next to your spouse, either child, because the family togetherness is a huge deal. On top of that, we homeschooled our kids. And if you remember me talking about our first year of homeschooling, we spent that year primarily bonding with our children. Not as if birth, you know, didn't bond us to a great degree, but we spent that time building a relationship of trust, love, and communication. And so the fact that that has lasted all these years into their 20s, that's something for us to be proud of. That's not something for us to be ashamed of. And I'm really sick and tired of people telling me that I'm going in the wrong direction, letting my kids come back home. And guess what? We can afford to have our kids back home. Is that what bothers you? Don't be mad. So what else? Yeah, no, that's all. I'm annoyed. People need to stop talking about my kids, especially to my face, because it's really aggravating. And the fact that we're close shouldn't bother people. The fact that we let them move back home shouldn't bother people. The fact that we can provide a luxurious home shouldn't bother people. The fact that we're going to help them launch out when they're ready to launch out should not bother people. That launching out may mean buying them a house. That shouldn't bother people. But in the meanwhile, they're here. They're trying to figure things out. And much like, I'm sorry, I'm okay. Let's just talk black and white. I'm black, and all of our white friends, because my husband and I went to the same high school, and we had a lot of white friends. And like my husband, they were also immigrants. So Portugal, Panama, places like that, Italy. They lived with their parents until it was time to get married. And when they left their parents' house, they went straight into houses that they bought. That had a great effect on my husband and I, because we kind of left because we had large families. So, we had so many siblings, we just needed some freedom and distance. But we left and we struggled a lot. And if we can provide for our kids what our friends' parents provided for our kids, then that's what we're going to do. And a lot of black families don't do that. A lot of black families, the kids turn 18, the parent goes in the cupboard and they break the plate. That's fine. My parents didn't do that. My husband's parents didn't do that. And, one of the reasons that as a culture, we don't do as well as other cultures is because we don't pass on generational wealth. We don't pay for their college if we're able to. We don't help them buy their houses. We don't buy their first houses for them. Now, I understand a lot of us can't, but those of us who can often don't. And we need to think about the reason why so many other cultures are so much more ahead of us financially is because the parents either can't or don't give the kids a boost, into the young adulthood. And that's what we're going to do. And whoever doesn't like it, well, they can deal with the Tupac side of me. Until next time.